The nation is still reeling following the brutal murder of media personality Warrick Stock, popularly known as DJ Warras. His killing on Tuesday in the Johannesburg CBD has ignited a fierce political response, with the African National Congress, the ANC, calling for the investigation to be treated with the highest priority and allocated proper resources. But the political reaction doesn't end there. ActionSA leader and former Johannesburg Mayor, Herman Mashaba, has described the murder as a brutal attack on those who stand up against crime, emphasizing that the tragedy is inextricably linked to the scourge of hijacked buildings. But this tragedy, as we say, has done more than just shock the country. It has ripped the cover off a festering wound at the heart of South Africa's inner cities, the scourge of hijacked buildings. Reports suggest that the crime is linked to a notorious lawless structure, exposing the dark reality of urban decay and organized crime. Let's pick up the conversation with the ActionSA leader, Herman Mashaba, who joins me now to take the conversation forward. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Just your own reflections of this killing of DJ Warras in the last few days, and the detail that we are gleaning about the work that he was involved in, and perhaps the possible linkages with that work of this murder.
Well, firstly, thank you very much, Taylor and SATB for giving me this opportunity. You know, the murder of DJ Warras, it's a very deeply hurting situation. I think for some of us who got involved, as you are aware, in 2016 to 2019, I took on this criminals hijacking our properties, with our political leadership at the time turning a blind eye on this case. And unfortunately, I was only in the city for 3 years. But in the 3 years as a mayor, I went all out, including being reported to the South African Human Rights Commission because of the number of undocumented foreign nationals who were occupying these buildings, being exploited by international criminal syndicates. And what I found it difficult to actually understand was why our provincial government or the previous city of Johannesburg allowed the city to really be hijacked in this fashion. By the time I left, I had already reclaimed 150 with the private sector to ensure that we can build affordable accommodation for our people, particularly South Africans. But one thing that we must understand, when you tackle the issue of hijacking, you must know you're touching a nerve and raw nerve with the criminal syndicates. So, fortunately enough, I was not really scared of them, and I'll never be scared of the criminals. Why the city of Johannesburg, upon my departure, why they did not really proceed with that inner city rejuvenation plan, because that plan was approved by council. It wasn't Herman Mashaba project. It was a project for the city of Johannesburg, approved by council, where the private sector was on our side to assist, working with us to build affordable accommodation and reclaim our city from this criminal syndicates.
Yeah. For many of us, we hear building hijacking, and perhaps naively we think it's people who are desperate for accommodation in the inner city within easy access to, commuter routes and economic opportunities. But from what you just described in your first response in this conversation, it's something deeper than that. Talk to me about this deeper aspect. You say when you touch these hijacked buildings, you touch a raw nerve. What do you mean by that?
Absolutely so, and I will not apologize to anyone. As you are aware, when I took over as the mayor, where I went all out, and I actually led most of the raids myself. I used to, the first year or so of my administration, I wanted to actually lead from the front, because when I brought this to the attention of law enforcement agencies, I was told that some areas are no-go areas. You're going to be interfering with people who are politically connected. And I said, what nonsense is this? The mandate from the residents of the city of Johannesburg to lead them. And there is not going to be any single street or any single building which is not going to be a no-go area. And used to get home, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and the following day, I'm back at work doing my other work. So yes, unfortunately, this whole syndicates of hijacked buildings. It involved the people who are politically connected, some of them directly involved in politics. Our law enforcement agencies, as exposed by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, I'm sure now South Africans can now see for themselves. Atlanta Commission that the capture of our criminal justice system is not just a pipe dream, it's a reality. And I think as long as us as South Africans are not going to hold this government accountable to ensure that we free up our criminal justice system, we are not going to win this war against hijacked buildings. But more importantly, to the season, it's a question of undocumented foreign nationals. I just cannot, in the life of me, why, as a South Africans, we want to test if South Africa can succeed in an environment of chaos. Because how can South Africa expect when we are unable to provide decent accommodation for our people, that we think we can provide accommodation and free basic services to people of the world? When I took over as the mayor, at the time, 300,000 housing backlog, just in the city of Johannesburg alone. The city which at the time attracting 3,000 people every single month. We had over 200 squatter camps, which this government calls them informal settlement. These are squatter camps where people live without even having a decency of having to. That's why I think for me, I take this personal, and I feel really sorry for DJ Warras to have really been killed for confronting this matter. And I think some of us are really very angry, but we're not going to just let this anger silence us. Actually, it's going to make us even more determined to say, look, his death is not going to be in vain. And I want to assure residents of City of Johannesburg, if not all, the entire country, that we are going to do everything possible, that undocumented foreign nationals must go back to the countries to allow us to deal with the plight of our people.
What do the immediate actions that need to be taken to respond to hijacked buildings? What does that plan look like if it had to be implemented from tomorrow?
Well, I think Tila says, unfortunately or fortunately, we operate in a democratic environment. I can sit here with you. If I'm not a mayor, I can only talk. So the first order of business is for the voters of Johannesburg to put in a government that is going to put them first and fight for them. Without that, I can talk as much as possible, but as I like. But at the end of the day, okay, once you get the mandate, I can tell you the second order of business as soon as we take over is to get rid of cadres, people who are put in senior positions who are supposed to execute on behalf of the residents of the city of Johannesburg. Because for you as a mayor or the political executive, your mandate is to drive the political direction. Ultimately, the administration is led by the city manager and all the senior managers. And unfortunately, when I took over, the city was unfortunately dominated by people who were not in position because of what they know. They were in position because of who they knew. I immediately embarked on a skills audit, and that's something that worries me, because upon my leaving, some of them are back. People who I went personally to police stations to lay criminal charges against them. So we've got to get rid of those people. And I think, and what is also important, we need to understand what happened to that inner city rejuvenation project approved by council,
Yeah.
where 154 buildings were already given to the private sector. We will have to hold people accountable as to why that project was not
All right.
executed as per the mandate of
Mr. Mashaba,
council.
yeah, thank you for your time this afternoon. I do need to leave it there. Herman Mashaba is leader of ActionSA, weighing in on the situation around hijacked buildings and lawlessness in the city of Johannesburg.